Okay, a few notes about dealing with the fiberglass on here. I want to get this down before I move on to the next thing. Not too shot in the ass with this wing or spoiler. A lot of variables in play here with the car and the thing itself, but I don't think that I'm not going to say the brand. I don't think this thing is made to very good tolerances. Ignore my runs. I put extra clear on there so I can block it out. So I'll take the hit for that, but the wing itself is it's not consistently shaped here. And I don't know if I can get it in here, but when it's outside, I'm going to be able to see it now that it's painted. It flattens out here, tapers back in and flattens out again here. And I don't know if there's enough material there to actually sand that out. But that's just one of the things. Now in every car, these things fit differently. And I fit this thing best I could and got it in a place that I was happy with it and pinned it with the rivets. And it's okay. But you have to give and take on this stuff. And the gaps they're okay. They're not great, but I don't know if you can see it here, but it tapers inward. And that's not awful for something that's being tacked onto the car, but it's different on both sides. And what I really don't care for is that this breaks away. It's right where it needs to be on this body line, and it's fitting the car comfortably here. And I pinned it in place as well. Got it pinned there for the time being, but it's almost like it's laid out this way. But that's where it goes. And I can't really adjust it because I'll lose what little bit of gap is left right here. Now I have adjusted the trunk. I've adjusted the trunk a whole lot, and I've done about all I can do with it. It opens up a little bit down here to try to get some of this back, but it is what it is. Just not OEM stuff. And so I'm having to learn where the give and take is. Same problem on this side, although this gap is a little bit more uniform. And this is okay. And it's where he needs to be. I've got him pinned the same way. And in general, it's not awful. It's going to be fine. And I think it's just the fact of dealing with fiberglass. The next problem are these arches, these flares. It worked a lot in here. Anybody that looked at those pics saw this went on forever and ever and ever to get this smooth. But this comes down and fits under the original edge of the car right here. And it leaves this. So if this is where the bumper mounts, what I don't want is an uphill gap to the bumper being flush back here, which is what I keep dealing with. So I've got the bumper off of it again. And I keep opening these holes up right here. That hole, it's a good size hole now. And it started large enough for a pretty standard Mazda, something with a 14 millimeter head. I don't know, maybe 3/8, maybe. So I keep opening these up to drop this point, and I can't quite get enough out of it to get the bumper to lay flat. And I'm okay with a gap back here as long as it's uniform across the bottom of the car. So that's what I'm shooting for. I've got more work to do to get that fitted. The thing over here is not quite as deep, but it's still noticeable. I debated, when I was fitting all this, on tapering that in up to here, but I was afraid that might create a battle I couldn't win at all here. So I elected to just leave this as a step. And I see a lot of modern cars where the bumper and the quarter meet just like this. They have a foot where the whole thing meets and then there's a gap behind it. So I thought that would be the preferred way, but right now I'm not quite able to pull that off. but we are close. Take another moment here to look at this angled aluminum. I got that bent most of the way, but the other thing I saw as I was fitting this piece of trim, this bumper came from the same people who made that wing, or spoiler rather, and it is also not square. And never mind the fact that I had to graft on the arches themselves, but the bumper is not a clean arc across here. It is on this line, but it was not when this was a full bumper. It actually came out like this. And so that complicated getting it fitted and took me longer than it should have to get that done. So just a note to myself and anyone else that's playing with this fiberglass stuff, none of it fits. None of it fits ever. And so there's high amount of modification required if you want it to fit anything close to right. And even when you get it close, it's all compromises and give and take. I guess that's just the nature of working with fake stuff instead of OEM stuff. But anyway, I'll get this fitted and then we'll see about the gap on the bumper.